The off-season kicking off for the Sens with the amateur scouting meetings taking place from CTC throughout the entirety of the week. Important meetings in the lead up to the Combine coming up in a couple of weeks' time down in Buffalo, and the draft later on in June.
Well, it's an important week for our group to be together. They've put in a lot of hard work, and this group has been together for a while, and there's great camaraderie, and there's also great debate. So we're always looking to challenge each other. And it's good for me to be in around the group and get to know their thoughts on this potential draft. But it's our potential draft picks and some of the players that they like. But it's always a great week.
I think it's really, really important to get everybody together in the same room so we can have open and honest discussions about the players. Each area scout and crossover scouts get to give their opinions on the players. It's obviously a lot easier to do that face to face than rather than doing it on Zoom, and I think it just develops more conversation about the players' skills and their weaknesses, and you know what you like in a player's game and what you don't like in a player's game, and everything blends together better.
The goal is to put a list together, and within a set of parameters and criteria that we've established to become Ottawa Senators. So we put it together numerically, we put it together by position, and right now, from January to date, we've put all the information together and we're ready to make that one-day decision.
Boyd also discussed the creation and development of the draft list that comes together not only at these meetings, but also throughout the entirety of the season.
We have 11 people on our staff that go out and watch 250 games a year. So basically that's almost 3,000 games at the amateur level. We put regional lists together. We have the West, we have Ontario, we have Quebec, we have the US, we have Europe by nation. So now all of a sudden we've got 7 or 8 regions that we have to work off. So we put the regions together, and by that I mean we put them in order, in our order, and then we take those in Europe and mesh those together to try to get the proper list, 1 to 50 in Europe, and then we do the same thing with North America. It's a process that. And it's not just throwing names at the board. I mean, these guys that are doing this job for us, and they know their people. They know their regions. There's crossover people. They see more than just their areas. And the way we do it, almost everybody sees more than just their area. So.
Also a discussion on what this draft class is looking like overall and the mentality of the group going into this year's first round, picking a little bit later on in the first round than in years past. The Sens slotted with the 21st pick in this year's draft.
Well, we're still going to try to get the best player available, obviously, unless we're told differently. We very rarely go by need because a lot of these players are going to be 3-4 years down the road, 5 years down the road before they ever play in Ottawa.
When we prepare a list, obviously we try to get the kids in the order we want to pick them in, and so as like you say, in previous years we picked a little higher, and the kids typically in the top 10 are a little more high-end kids. We're picking 21 this year, so it does drop off a little bit. But there's still some good players in that area, and we have to get it in the right order, and we're looking forward to getting a good player at 21.
Also a special year for Chief European scout Mikko Ruutu, celebrating his 20th season as a scout with the Sens. He also discussed what this draft class looks like on the European side.
It's hard to believe, time is flying, and I really enjoy this job, so I think that's the thing, like you don't really feel the time. That's what it is, so you really enjoy the job. At the end, the most important thing for me is the group of people we are working together, and that matters most because we grind it, and it's not just those glory moments, it's more about the whole picture. It hasn't been that good year in Europe overall. Like Sweden has been pretty much normal, what it's usually, but otherwise maybe a little bit weaker, but the season is still the same. We have to see enough players, enough many times to make sure we know them early season, at the end of the season, so you see the progress. Some guys getting better, some are staying same. So nothing really new there, just less players this year, I would say, a little bit.
A great celebration for Ruutu. Also, other Sens news on Thursday, a couple of additions to the hockey ops side of things. Sam Gagner joining on as Director of Player Development, and Matt Turek joining on as well as GM of the Belleville Sens.
Well, starting with Matt Turek, I mean, he has experience managing, and Belleville is critical to us. We talk about the draft and the lifeline, but those draft picks, almost always go through Belleville, and it's an area of our organization that we want to take to another level. I think we've been fine in that area, but certainly I think that with Matt's experience and his leadership and his ability to manage, I think is going to help get Belleville to another level. And I got great experience with him. We worked together, and I'm really excited about having him on board. With Sam Gagner, a player I got to play with in his first year coming into the league, and just watching, I've just been so impressed with not only how he's performed throughout his career on the ice, but just the man that he's become and the leader he's become. And I've kept in contact with him, watching him continue to mature. And he exhausted every ounce of his energy as a player, and up until even playing for us with Belleville, and he had such a great impact on our players and on the environment and the culture in Belleville. It was for a long time I've known that he had the potential to come into a management role, and development is the first step for him. But I could see how he's going to expand on his role because of his knowledge and his passion.
Good stuff overall from the Scouts throughout the entirety of the week. The meetings will wrap up Friday afternoon before the Scouts will once again reconvene in Buffalo for the Combine coming up in a couple of weeks' time. For Sens 360, I'm Jackson Starr.